It's time, Fort Wayne. Your sports, your station. It's the Sports Rush with Brett Rump.
Max Landis.
Covering all the topics that hit a nerve here in the Summit City.
Clark goes 11 yards, touchdown.
Only on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Now here's your host, Brett Rump.
The greatest, most interesting, most important person of all time.
You are incredible.
Listen to me. I'm older and I'm wise.
Yeah, well, you're half right.
What is this, amateur hour?
This is going to be huge.
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
I think that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
That boy ain't right.
The simplest way to put it, I have problems.
Welcome to the alleged show.
Y'all ready for this?
Thank God it's...
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
Here we go. I'm losing my voice. Into the sports weekend, we roll with the Sports Rush, your daily local sports fix, 4 to 6. I am Brett Rump along with Adam Lundy. We've got the party happening right here at Winter Circle in New Haven. The horse racing in full swing. We've got college basketball wall to wall here, and plenty of room for you to come out and enjoy some dinner. That's what we were actually doing during the break we just had. Adam and I have been digging into the half rack of ribs, and man,
that's hard to believe. It's a half rack too. There's just so much food, and you also get
it's a lot of food.
You get fries, you get Texas toast, so it's a great deal. I mean, $2 off too. What a deal.
Yep, and so you can save on that. You've got $2.25 drafts, you've got $15 buckets, and those specials run all weekend long. But if you want to come out, watch games tonight, the games will be on all the way up until the conclusion coming up this evening. And, of course, you've got Ball State women. They'll be in action coming up at 6 o'clock right here. And he's already got one of the TVs set to the channel, so he is ready for the women's game as well. Now, it is... let's see, taking a look at some of the women's scores. I've got those open first. So just to give you an update on what's happened so far today, TCU is routing Fairleigh Dickinson 65-43. They've got about a half a quarter left to be played in that one. It is Baylor 51, Grand Canyon 45. That's a 4-13 game, still close with 53 seconds left in the third quarter. Halftime, South Carolina all over Tennessee Tech, 60-27. You've got Notre Dame with a 106-54 win over Stephen F. Austin. Kentucky escaped that game. Kentucky had a lead. Liberty made a big run, and Kentucky ends up winning at 79-78. Kentucky a 4 seed, Liberty a 13 seed. Ended up being a 1-point game, but Kentucky does survive and advance. Kansas State routs Fairfield 85-41. Michigan gets by Iowa State 80-74, and Indiana gets the win over Utah, as Indiana, the 9 seed, beats the 8 seed Utah Utes 76-68. And it looks like Indiana will have a date with South Carolina coming up on Sunday. Now, looking at what's happening today on the men's side, right now you've got Duke all over Mount St. Mary's. They are up by 46 in the last minute of play. And then you've got, you go from Mount St. Mary's to St. Mary's.
Yep.
And St. Mary's is down to Vanderbilt with 11:43 left. The Commodores are leading it over St. Mary's 42-36. Ole Miss is up big on North Carolina at the half, 44-26. I'll bet that's going to bust a lot of brackets. Because I think I'll bet 75-80% of the people that saw the North Carolina Tar Heels play the other night in their play-in game went Tar Heels to beat Ole Miss.
You'd think so.
But Ole Miss up by 18 at the break. You've got an early score, 11:20 left in the first half, and Maryland is up by 3 over Grand Canyon, 11-8. Now it is 13-10. Boy, they're just scoring like crazy. Let's see. Final scores from the men's NCAA tournament. It was Alabama by 9 over Robert Morris, 90-81. But the Colonials put on a good showing for the Rising League. Battling a team that's the number 2 seed, and many people think is a true Final Four contender, maybe even some that believe Alabama has a chance to win this whole thing. And Robert Morris actually had a lead in this game with 7 minutes left. But then Alabama pulls away, gets a 10-point lead that they kind of hold on to over the last 3 minutes, and they win it 90-81. Iowa State, no problem with Lipscomb, 82-55. Colorado State did beat Memphis 78-70. That was a 12-5 upset. And Baylor was a winner over Mississippi State in an 8-9 game, 75-72. Now, if you want to look ahead, coming up tonight, you've got Norfolk State against Florida. Who do you have winning it, Adam, on your bracket?
Between Florida and Norfolk State?
No. Who do you have winning the tournament?
Oh, I have the Auburn Tigers winning the tournament.
Because Florida is a very popular pick. I think I saw, according to ESPN brackets, I think that Duke is the most popular pick to win it all, followed by Florida, followed by Auburn.
Yep, you're right. It's Duke at 25%, Florida at 21.3%, and Auburn at 10.6%.
Kentucky, they will play Troy at 7:10 tonight. That'll be the featured game on CBS if you're planning on watching, but you should be listening because that's the whole point of putting these games on radio is we give you the convenience of being able to hear them on the go. And Kentucky versus Troy, 7:10 tonight. Then you've got New Mexico against Marquette. I think that has the potential to be the game of the night. Now, what's nice is if it's not the game of the night, by the time we have our next show, nobody's going to remember I even said it.
Definitely.
Although they still remember that I talked about Indiana beating Notre Dame in the college football playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
They
hold that one against you.
Yeah, I still get that. But I think that's got the chance of being the game of the night. Now, last night, I told you. I had it right yesterday.
You did.
Because I said Kansas-Arkansas should be a great game. It turned out to be a great game. I said Michigan, watch out. I said you don't want to be comfortable. You're going to take on a UC San Diego team that is very capable of knocking off the Wolverines if the Wolverines don't come to play. And I thought Michigan came to play and still had to hold on to 3-point win. Akron will play Arizona tonight. You've got Oklahoma against UConn, Xavier against Illinois. Let's find out which Illinois squad shows up. That's been a Jekyll and Hyde team this year. If they're on, they are on. But can they string together 6 games where they're on? Xavier, of course, had to play in to get that opportunity to play Illinois. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Bryant against Michigan State in a 2:15 game. So 2 versus 15, not a 2:15 a.m. game.
No, and then one more to round it out at 10:10 tonight. It's the 12 seed Liberty taking on Oregon.
Oh, don't you hate when they put an ad right before the last game? So you stop and then you realize there's one more way at the bottom if you scroll all the way down.
Can't forget about the Oregon Ducks out of the Big Ten.
All right, so tell us about the prizes. We've got some things for you to win. We need you to stop by and get registered. You can make your wife really happy if you come out here and win these prizes. Because what, an air fryer?
Yeah. Earn some prizes, earn some brownie points with your wife. We still have an air fryer. We still have a Cuisinart panini press and grill, and we've still got a rice cooker as far as the appliances go. But we still also do have T-shirts, koozies, pullovers, all that good stuff.
Yeah, now the T-shirts, koozies, pullovers, all of that. All you got to do is come up and tell us that you want something from our prize table. We'll let you take a pick, and you can take something home. So just by stopping up here, nobody's going to be a loser. But if you want to win the fancy kitchen stuff, you've got to come out and get registered. We'll pick the winners coming up before 6 o'clock. So hurry up, get out here to Winner's Circle in New Haven, corner of Minnick and Highway 30. Great prizes. And, of course, they've got, as Adam and I have been sampling, they've got a great half slab of ribs that you can enjoy with $2 savings. You've also got, don't forget the taquitos.
Don't forget.
That was yesterday's meal here at Winner's Circle. They're fantastic. And you can get the taquitos. You can get the $2.25 drafts. You can get the $15 buckets. And it's all here at Winter Circle in New Haven. No problem watching the games. You can sit at the bar if you feel more comfortable just hanging out at the bar and watching the games. They got TVs that circle the bar so you can look up, watch the games, whatever game you want to see. And then they've also got a wall of televisions here in the room that we're in. Most of the tables seat 4. You could push a couple together and get a group of 8 together. In fact, right now we've got a big group sitting across the room from us, and I think they had a total of 10 people. They pushed a couple tables together, and they're all having a good time. They've been here since about the time we started the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a fantastic time. We've had some people come in and say hello to us, and we've got, like you said, we've got Ben from Midwest Box Breaks hanging out, so we're having a good time. If you want to weigh in on anything on the show, the Parkview Sports Medicine text line is 260-447-8500, and we're also hanging out on Facebook Live at facebook.com/1380thefan. We did get one text on the text line. Somebody wants to ask us, how far will UConn go? They're an 8 seed taking on the number 9 seeded Oklahoma Sooners tonight, and if they do win, they'd face the winner of Florida Norfolk State in the next round.
Yeah, I don't think UConn gets through the weekend. And I would not be surprised if UConn is done tonight.
There you go.
Now, I do think that UConn can beat Oklahoma, but that is a really good Florida team that will give UConn everything they can handle, and I think I've got Florida advancing. I think most people have Florida advancing. I just don't think it's a good seeding for UConn. They had an opportunity to earn a better seed. They wasted it during the regular season, and so they end up in that awful 8-9 spot where, yeah, you might have a team that you're pretty even with in the first round. You're not going to have somebody that you can beat up on. But then you got to bounce right back and take on a number 1 seed that probably had a chance to rest a lot of starters, beating up on a 16 seed. So in my mind, it's no further. They're not going to make it out of the first weekend, whether they get beat tonight or whether they get beat Sunday. I think the season ends here this weekend for the UConn Huskies.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same page as you on that one.
Big Ten team that goes the farthest.
Ooh.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
Michigan, Wisconsin.
I'm going to give it to Michigan State and then probably Wisconsin.
I need to see the bracket. I got to figure out. Purdue is getting McNeese State, so I feel like Purdue has a very good chance, because I like Purdue's chances against McNeese State better than I liked them against Clemson.
Sure.
And so I like Purdue's chances to get through to next week. But let's see, Michigan State with the number 1 seed, who would they play in the second round? They're way at the bottom, I think.
Yeah, I got you here. They would face the winner of Marquette and New Mexico tonight.
I think Michigan State makes it through the weekend.
I do too. I think Michigan State can beat either of those teams.
Okay, Michigan, they won last night, a close game against UC San Diego.
Yes.
But I think Michigan's up at the top.
Okay.
They've got. They don't have Auburn. Who do they?
They have Texas A&M next, and then if they
can win that one.
If they win that one, they're going to face the winner of Auburn Creighton.
Okay, so Michigan is going to have a tough game.
Yeah, either of those teams
open
are
up
tough.
next week.
Yeah, if they can beat A&M to.
But Michigan has a shot to get through the weekend. I think Michigan is better than Texas A&M. I wonder what the line is going to be on that game.
Texas A&M -2.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I would have thought Michigan would have been a point or two favorite.
Yeah, Texas A&M actually started off, it opened up at -1.5, and it's actually been pushed to -2.5.
So, the betting public seems to like Texas A&M in that matchup.
Yeah, the ESPN matchup predictor actually has Texas A&M as a 58.1% chance of winning.
Wisconsin. Let's go back, look at Wisconsin. Where are they at? Who did they have?
They up next have BYU, who defeated VCU 80-71.
Man, that's going to be 199.
A lot of scoring in that one.
That's going to be a very high-scoring game.
And then should they defeat BYU in that matchup, they would play either Alabama or the winner of St. Mary's or Vanderbilt.
Not going to be shocked if Wisconsin goes down.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm not sure that at this point, my gut tells me that maybe it's BYU that knocks off Wisconsin. Maryland They might have their hands full today, taking on, Grand Canyon? Is that the matchup?
Yeah, I believe that game might be in action right now. It is. They have a 26-12 lead over Grand Canyon with 7 minutes in the first half. If they do win, they'll go on to face Colorado State, which I think is a good matchup.
Yeah, they've got a chance to win that one.
Yeah.
So you could have quite a few of the Big Ten teams making it through the weekend.
Definitely. So a lot better than the ACC so far.
Now, some of the matchups we're going to see tomorrow include Houston, Gonzaga. And I know Houston's the number 1 seed. Gonzaga got totally shafted with being an 8 seed. And, they were ranked by KenPom number 9 in the country, and they're ranked by the net rankings at number 8 in the country. They take on Houston in the second round of 32. I think the Zags could end the season for Houston.
Wow, that would be quite the upset. Houston comes in as minus 5.5-point favorites into that matchup.
But you look at that quadrant, and it's working out almost perfect for Purdue. And I don't think anybody expected that this would be a run to the Final Four for the Purdue Boilermakers. But Purdue gets McNeese State, who knocked off Clemson, who I thought might have been the toughest challenge for the Boilermakers. You get McNeese, and then if you win that and Gonzaga is able to knock out Houston, now you've got the Zags, which is, certainly that's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, no slouch.
But the way Houston plays defense and the way Purdue is somewhat prone to turn the ball over, especially Braden Smith, who I still think is kind of playing tired here at the end of the season. I don't know that I'd like that matchup for the Boilermakers, but I think it's more of an even playing field against Gonzaga. And then who's in the bottom of the bracket? You've got teams like Illinois Xavier, Kentucky Troy, UCLA, Tennessee. There's nobody in there that Purdue couldn't beat.
Yeah, no, Tennessee's a really good team. I would maybe take Tennessee over Purdue, but, there's a path. There's certainly a path.
If I had a bracket, and I might actually, out of the 10 I have, that had Tennessee-Purdue as a matchup, in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
I probably right now, today, would take Tennessee to beat Purdue. But it doesn't mean I would be totally shocked if Purdue beats Tennessee.
No, I agree. The path is there.
Yeah, the path is definitely there. We'll take a break. We're going to come back. Plenty more ahead this hour as we take you home on a Friday, wrapping up your work week. Hey, don't forget spring break. Some people are actually going on spring break this week.
Early.
Yeah, and I heard my friends at Cruzy Automotive Service, they have been busy taking care of people that we've been talking to about getting your car into Cruzy Automotive Service and getting that spring break checkup. And that means like the belts, the hoses, everything that can maybe suffer some damage or wear during those cold winter months. They'll check it out, so when you get on the highway, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about your car because it's been thoroughly checked out by a qualified mechanic at Cruzy Automotive Service, and you've got to get that oil change. And right now it's under $20. And get this. This is what Cruzy told me. Today they told me this, that they've had multiple people that have come in this week, and she said, the most prevalent thing that I have heard from them when they've come in, does Brett really bring his car here to Cruzy?
You do.
I've talked about it for how many years? Yes, I take my car to Cruzy Automotive Service. They do the work on my vehicle. And so you can take your car there, too. Make sure you get set up for your next oil change. It could be under $20, $19.99 right now for an oil change at Cruzy Automotive Service, conveniently located on Lima Road, north Wall and south of Till, behind the Shell gas station. For best service, get an appointment. Call them now at 489-1089. That's 489-1089 for Cruzy Automotive Service. Special programming note coming up tomorrow. If you're wanting to catch the Purdue Boilermakers on the Purdue Radio Network, it will make the jump over the dial, has to cross the river to get to the FM side, and it will be available on 92.3 FM WOWO Radio. Rob Blackman and company with the Purdue Boilermakers, McNeese State. And I don't know what time the pregame is, but 12:10, I think, is the tip-off for the Boilermakers coming up tomorrow. And that, of course, clears room here at 1380 The Fan, so we can bring you our Parkview Sports Medicine High School Basketball Game of the Week. It is semi-state basketball. And, of course, don't forget the new format of the semi-state. You've got 2 games in the morning session, a championship game then at night, and the Homestead Spartans will take on the Crown Point Bulldogs. 12 noon tip, and I got instructions today that regardless of how quick the first game is, the second game will not tip until 12 o'clock. So we will not go early. I thought perhaps it would be one of those 25 minutes after the first game ends, but I got an email today that the game will tip at 12 noon. That means we'll be on the air here at 1380 The Fan on 100.9 FM tomorrow at 11:50 for the Homestead Spartans and Crown Point Bulldogs in the semifinal of the Class 4A North Semi-State. That makes it easy to find, right?
Oh, yeah. Anywhere, any game you're looking for, you know where to find it. We got it for you.
We've got wall-to-wall tournament coverage with Westwood One covering the NCAA tournament, and that also means, well, wait a minute. You just put Purdue on 92.3. You got high school basketball 1380. You're telling me you got wall-to-wall coverage of the NCAA tournament? Yes, we do, because you know what we're going to do during the time we've got the high school basketballs. You're going to be able to go to a special stream at 1380thefan.com and catch the NCAA tournament. And of course, with the NCAA tournament coverage, they go to the best game with the most competitive outcomes. And so you constantly are going to different games that are always competitive. And the biggest games, best games, most competitive games, dramatic finishes. You've got that coverage from Westwood One, and we'll continue with that tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, and then get right back to it next Thursday.
Love it. Love it. All the coverage you could ask for.
So Purdue versus McNeese State tomorrow. Boilers 6-point favorites in this one. I like Purdue in this. I think, McNeese State, I think they really focused on that first matchup against Clemson. And now it's almost like we did it. We got, it's almost like they've gotten their trophy. They know they're not a legitimate contender to go all the way. But, you celebrate a win like that. It's not business as usual, step 1 of 6. For the Boilermakers, they've gone through this process. They know how you have to break away from the celebration of a Game 1 win and immediately turn your focus to Game 2. And I think for McNeese State, still celebrating the win over Clemson, I think Purdue's going to win this game tomorrow against McNeese State. I think Purdue's going to play next weekend. But Purdue is a 6-point favorite with an 82% chance to win. That's I guess now it's down to 77% on your screen. It was 82% this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know why they decide, you know what? I don't feel 82 anymore. I'm going to change this to 76. There's nothing that's happened. How did they change the percentage to 76.8 on your screen? And I looked it up this morning, and it was 82%.
I wish I could tell you. I can also tell you that a little bit of money has come in on McNeese. The line started at Purdue -6.5, and it's now sitting at Purdue -5.5. So a couple of believers that it might be another, high seed upset for Purdue. But I think they got over any jitters and any concerns of that happening in the first round with High Point.
Also, Indiana Tech women had their season come to an end earlier today.
Yes.
In the national tournament in Sioux Falls, Iowa, the Indiana Tech Warriors fell to Freed Hardeman out of Tennessee in the round of 16, I believe it was. And so the final score there out in Sioux City was 54-43. Just a awful shooting day for Indiana Tech as they could not find the range from 3. Especially their starters. Their starters really struggled from the field. And so Indiana Tech ends their season. Their record on the year finishes up at 27-6, and great season still for Jesse Biggs. The Indiana Tech program still going to be one of the top programs in the what, Adam? The WAC.
The WAC, yeah.
WAC.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. They went 19-1 in conference play, 27-6 overall, 16-2 at the Schaefer Center. It's just a fantastic season for the Warriors.
And, games today. What's happening right now with the latest update on games going on right now? You've got, this first round's been a bust.
Yeah,
right? There's not been a whole lot of drama.
You've got a good one right now between Vanderbilt and St. Mary's. That's a 10-7 matchup, 2:43 to go in the second half, and it's a 3-point lead for St. Mary's over the Commodores. Also checking a look, it's all still Ole Miss over North Carolina, 52-32 with about 16 minutes remaining in the second half. Also, about 2 minutes left in the first half. You've got the Maryland Terrapins over the Grand Canyon Lopes. That's a 4-13 matchup. It's Maryland 40, Grand Canyon 23.
Okay, so now coming up, we'll talk some Pacers basketball. We'll get you more updates on the NCAA tournament, and we'll also tell you some of the lines for tonight.
All right.
Because, when you come here to Winner's Circle, and I know you're probably on your way right now because you want to win that air fryer that we've got. If you'd like to win that, you've only got about another 20 minutes or so to get out here and get signed up. But we've got air fryer. We've got what is that grill that we've got?
Yeah, it's a griddler grill / panini press. We've also got a rice cooker still on deck, too.
You still got the pillows?
Yeah, we still got the pillows.
Yep, got pillows, too. And we got some T-shirts. So if you want to win some prizes, come on out here and see us. We're at Winner's Circle, broadcasting live with the Sports Rush up until 6 o'clock. Corner of Minnick Road and Highway 30 on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Broadcasting live from Winner's Circle. We're at the corner of Minnick Road and Highway 30. No problem finding us. We're in the Lutheran Health Plaza. And when you get to the corner, you'll be able to confirm that we are in the right spot because you'll see the 1380 The Fan vehicle sitting right out by the corner. And you got to go all the way out there and get that vehicle after we're done here. It's nice. It's good. It's a nice day.
Nice and sunny, and I get my steps in for the day, and it's really not that bad.
No, but Adam's got the furthest parking spot from the door. But
yes.
We are here now. If you haven't been to Winner's Circle, you've got to come out and experience what they've got to offer. First of all, if you like horse racing, even if you don't, come out and experience it, right? Everybody needs to experience what it's like to bet on the horses, or at least experience what it's like to sit and watch other people that are betting on the horses. That's almost as much fun as being the one that's betting yourself. And so we've got one side of this big room that is committed to the horse racing, and then the other side, right now, it's wall-to-wall basketball. We've got all of the games that are in progress on the screen. We've even got women's basketball, so you can watch the women's tournament. And, of course, the Ball State Cardinals are going to be tipping off coming up at 6 o'clock at the top of the hour. So you want to be out here at Winner's Circle. Now, you can enjoy great food, great drink specials. Right now, it's $2.25 for drafts. You've got $15 buckets of beer. You also have a half slab of ribs, and we have officially approved these for our listeners' consumption because we have tested them ourselves.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced that's only a half rack because I saw that thing when it first came out. That thing was falling off the plate.
No, I ate delicious. One of the 5 or 6 that are on there. I ate one, and it's like I feel like I've had a meal. I mean, it is.
And, I mean, it doesn't even just come with that.
And then
also,
you got the fries,
Texas toast. Also, shout out to 2 of our listeners. We had James come in. He said he heard us on the radio, and he grabbed the cookware set.
Okay, so he's all set. Appreciate you folks that are listening and coming out here and experiencing what we experience every year at this time here at Winner's Circle in New Haven. But here's the great thing about watching the games here. First of all, it's not a dark, dingy environment.
No.
Okay, it's so many of the sports bars are just unwelcoming because they're dark and they're dingy. Here, you got a nice, light, lively atmosphere. But the other thing is you've also got the window where you can put a little something on the games, and it makes watching the games that much more entertaining. And then, of course, if your bet wins, you just go collect the cash. You don't have to wait for transfers. You get cash in hand. All of that here at Winner's Circle. We invite you to come out. If you don't make it before 6 o'clock, maybe you're tied up this afternoon, wrapping up your work week. Well, the great thing is the specials go all weekend long. They're going to have all the games on this weekend, so plenty of time for you to come on out. And, of course, the weather's going to turn cold over the weekend, too, so you might want to just come out because you're not going to be doing yard work.
No.
You don't have to worry about anything on the honey-do list this weekend.
No, and like you said, just throw out any preconceived notions that you may have in your head about what you think of when you think of sports bar or putting money on anything. It is a bright, fun, airy atmosphere in here. Everything is clean. It's ship-shape, and it's really nice.
And the other thing that's nice is, you can hang out and see the other people and easily walk between tables. In fact, the tables aren't all jammed together where it's wide open, spacious, comfortable. So it's a perfect place, really, to bring the gang out to watch the game. Don't forget, when you're thinking about getting together, whether it's a gang from work, maybe it's the buddies, maybe it's the softball team or the baseball team, whatever, bring them out here. In fact, talking earlier, there's a group that comes out every every game. After the game, there's a group that comes out here from a nearby school.
Awesome.
And they hang out here after their games. So, that's the kind of place. It's a place where everybody can get together, have a good time. If you just want to grab a drink and a dinner, you can do that.
Yeah, you're not required to put any money on anything. Yeah.
No,
But if you want to.
No, there's no minimum required or anything like
No
that.
deposit.
No. And the nice thing, there's no maximum, I don't believe.
No, there's not.
There
might be.
You want to dig deep in the pockets and place your bets here? I think they'll be happy to see you if you do that as well.
I'm sure they'd be happy to service you.
But we've got the horse racing right now. I know they're in Tampa.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other places they're racing today, but I do know they're in Tampa.
Any other places they're racing besides Tampa today?
Oh, yeah. Gulfstream,
Gulfstream. Santa Anita.
Oh, Santa Anita. Those are all places I've heard of. I know of.
They're good.
I'm not a big horse guy, but I tell you what, I do enjoy once I sit down.
It's electric over there.
It is. It's exciting. You really get sucked in and enjoy it.
Oh,
I mean, because you love that adrenaline rush you get when you hit a horse. And we can hear it from over on this side of the room. We can hear it when there's a race that's coming down to the wire. You can hear the energy just kind of reverberate all the way through this place. So it's just fun to be part of the atmosphere. Pacers last night, another thriller.
They do it again. They pull the rabbit out of the hat.
Unbelievable. I mean, down big late in the game, and you feel like, what were they down, like 9 points with a minute left in the game, and you think, well, things are all doom and gloom, and the Pacers find a way to come back, get a couple of steals with the full court pressure. They get a three-pointer. Ben Mathurin was fantastic down the stretch. Miles Turner with a game-winning block, and the Pacers win it in overtime at Gainbridge Fieldhouse last night over the Brooklyn Nets, 105-99. It got testy late in that game.
Yeah.
Little push and shove. And
Tempers flare.
Yeah, two teams that weren't too pleased with one another. It's their third meeting of the year. And guess what? As the schedule would have it, they come back and play again tomorrow. It could be very interesting to see what kind of attitude and what kind of emotion you have in the game tomorrow night down in Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I feel like this is the second time in recent times this has happened to the Pacers, where they play a game on Thursday and then they play the same team on Saturday. This happened a couple weeks ago with the Atlanta Hawks.
Well, you know what? The first time they met Brooklyn, they met them back-to-back in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So against Brooklyn, the 4 meetings they've had this year, it's 2 back-to-backs. So it's kind of strange that way when you play the same team twice, but it does also give you the experience of what it would be like should you play in the playoffs. Yeah. And I think that's maybe why the NBA is doing it, to give teams a chance to experience back-to-back games against the same opponent. So it's very similar as far as how the scouting goes, and how you match up, and adjustments that are made. They give you these back-to-backs. And so the Pacers and the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow down in Indianapolis. 260-447-8500 is the Parkview Sports Medicine text line. If you've got anything you'd like to add to the show, we would love to hear from you. 260-447-8500. Somebody weighing in about Gonzaga.
Yeah, they said, I believe it's DC actually weighing in, so shout out to DC. They said the team to watch is Gonzaga, definitely better than their seed, and yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah, they... According to Ken Palm, they're the 9th best team in the country, and according to the net rankings, they're the 8th best team in the country, but they somehow pulled off an 8 seed. It just was ridiculous. And that may have been the easiest money for anyone to make yesterday, was when you had Gonzaga and Georgia. Because according to all the analytics, all the tangibles, the measurables, it was not a close game. Gonzaga was a much better basketball team than Georgia, but the seed was 8-9. And of course, some people collected on that here at Winter Circle yesterday.
Definitely.
But Gonzaga against Houston, and I think that's what DC's referencing, because we talked about that matchup, and I said I would not be surprised to see Gonzaga beat Houston.
Yeah.
Coming up tomorrow.
Yep, tomorrow night.
And then Purdue takes on McNeese State on the other side of that bracket. So Purdue could get McNeese, and then they could get Gonzaga, avoid the number 1 seed in their region. And the only team then that would be left on the bottom half would be Tennessee that they would have to face in the Elite Eight. So I think Purdue's got real solid path. Now, don't look past McNeese.
No, don't do it.
You can't feel like, oh, we caught a break because, Clemson got knocked off, so now we just have to play a 12 seed.
No.
You can't think that way because that's probably the attitude Clemson had, and look what's happened to Clemson. They're sitting on the sideline watching the rest of this tournament while McNeese State advances on. But just watching the post-game celebration and how excited McNeese State was to get that win, and yeah, it's a huge win for a program like McNeese State.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard to come back and back it up. Remember, Oakland last year got the win over Kentucky, and they celebrated. They enjoyed it. But the next game, even though they competed with North Carolina State, they still got beat by North Carolina State. And so I think Purdue is going to beat McNeese State. I would not be surprised to see Gonzaga beat Houston, and I think you might see a Boilermakers-Bulldogs matchup in the Sweet 16.
Those two teams are actually, fairly familiar with each other. We see them play quite often in, the early season tournaments.
All right, so we will take a quick time out, and when we come back, we'll talk about some of the lines on tonight's games. We'll wrap it up. Our final segment coming up here at Winner's Circle is coming up on the other side. Hey, don't forget with spring break just around the corner, it might even start right now. You might think you're on spring break. Well, if you've got time, get your car to Cruzy Automotive Service and tell them you want to get that spring break checkup, because that's where they're going to test and check all the things that could wear or deteriorate with the terrible winter months. Things like hoses, belts, your battery, your tread wear, your brakes. And they'll check it out so that you're ready to hit the highways with a certain confidence after having your car checked by Cruzy Automotive Service. You also want to get the oil change. That's like a given. And right now, Cruzy Automotive Service is taking care of you on your oil change for as low as $19.99. That's a full-service oil change, $19.99 at Cruzy Automotive Service. You can go where I go. Highly recommend. Over 40 years of doing business here in Fort Wayne. It's Cruzy Automotive Service on Lima Road, north of Wallen, south of Till, right behind the Shell gas station. Call for an appointment, 489-1089, 489-1089 for Cruzy Automotive Service. Back at final time here at Winner's Circle in New Haven, corner of Minnick and Highway 30. I am Brett Rump with Adam Lundy, and coming up tonight, maybe you want to come out and check out the action. And the best part of Winner's Circle is not only can you enjoy the great food, including their food specials, but you've got great drink specials all weekend long. $2.25 drafts. They got $15 buckets. But you can also put a little wager on the games.
Oh, yeah.
And if you win, you can collect your cash right here at Winner's Circle at the window. So coming up tonight, I'm going to give you what I would put together as my ticket.
Okay.
Norfolk State is taking on number 1 seeded Florida. It is a 28.5-point line. Florida, obviously, the favorite. And I'd give the points. I think Florida is going to dominate this game. I think Florida is going to probably hit 100 points. And so I'll take Florida to cover 28.5. I know it's a big number, and I know a lot of people will shy away from it, but if I had to bet it, I would be giving up the points. Then you've got Kentucky taking on Troy. 11.5, I still feel like I'd have to go with Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Troy, honestly.
I feel like Kentucky-Troy is as safe as Purdue versus High Point. In fact, I think Purdue-High Point was a more contested game, and Purdue won that by 12. I think Kentucky can cover 11.5. Then you've got Marquette, New Mexico. With Marquette, a 4.5-point favorite, I'm all over New Mexico. You're giving me 4.5 points for a game that I think could be the closest game of the first round. I'm going to ride with New Mexico.
Lobos.
Got the Lobos, yep. And then Akron against Arizona, where Arizona's a 14.5-point favorite. I like Akron a lot. 14.5 seems like a big number. I'm kind of torn on this one. I could go either way. I think 14.5 makes it a really tough bet. I would normally fade this one and not bet it, but if I was forced to bet, I'll take Akron.
Yeah, I'll take Akron to cover. Arizona has a reputation for having some close first-round games.
And then you've got UConn, Oklahoma. UConn, a 5.5-point favorite, and I'll go ahead and ride with Oklahoma. I don't trust UConn.
I'll take UConn.
And so you'll take UConn to cover. And then you've got Xavier, Illinois. Xavier, of course, had a play-in game a couple of days ago. Illinois at 4.5. I love Illinois at 4.5.
Yeah, I think they can do that.
And Michigan State 16.5 over Bryant. Give me Sparty all day long at 16.5.
Yeah,
especially with the over/under being a high number.
Oh, don't forget Liberty, Oregon minus 7.5.
Go down to that last game way at the bottom, and it is Oregon 7.5.
Give it to me.
That's a tough one. You're going to take Oregon?
Yeah, why not?
You'll get the points. Just for argument's sake, I'll take Liberty.
You contrarian.
I'll take Liberty. I'll take 7.5 points.
All right.
Be something we can debate. By Monday we'll forget.
We'll forget, yeah.
Yeah. That will do it for us. Big thanks to Brian out here at Winter Circle. It's been a fantastic host for the last couple of days. Don't forget, all weekend long, you come out here and enjoy the specials, watch the games. They've got them all over the place, plus the horse racing on the other side. Also, thanks to the guests that stopped by, Ben Smith from Midwest Box Breaks. Thanks to Josh Williams for handling things back in the studio while you, Adam, were out here with me.
Having fun.
Don't forget, tomorrow, Purdue will be on 92.3 FM WOWO, and you'll have high school basketball on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Enjoy your weekend of hoops. This has been the Sports Rush on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.